fucking bold.
I don't want to be a product of my environment. I want my environment to be a product of me.
Prestige Living Podcast. So with that, who do you want to be?
Hello, welcome to Prestige Living and today's very first episode of Be Bold. I'm Jay O'Brien, the anti-realtor. Be Bold is a brand new series that's going to be peppered into these shows that you've grown accustomed to on the channel, and they're really designed to spark a stream of consciousness in true audible fashion. We'd love your feedback and comments on this, as we'll be launching a variety of new segments to Prestige Living to keep things fresh and exciting, and most importantly, to inspire the listeners on the show to constantly be thinking bigger. Today, I want to discuss the idea of reclaiming your time. Okay, so time is the most valuable commodity that we have, and we treat it like it's bottomless. It's not. It's when your time is spent, think of it as a currency. You know, you're exchanging your time for moments or things or people or whatever it is. Are they worth it? Is whatever it is worth the time that is irreversible and you will not get it back? So the time is critical that you treat it preciously and that it's being used the way you want to use it, whether it's for leisure when you're on vacation or with your family or friends, or if it's for productivity in the business realm. And one of the things that we see happen all of the time, especially if you're a business owner listening to this, and it could be in any field, people want to monopolize your time. So it could be employees, it could be clients, it could be vendors, it could be anybody, but they want to steal it from you, and we so easily will give it to them without even realizing what we're doing. This could be done in a text message, it could be done on a phone call, an email, and we're going to get on the email thing because that's one of the biggest ones, but it can also be done in person. You know, I can't tell you how many times people ask me, hey, let's go grab coffee and talk about this or talk about that, and they feel that that's a productive meeting. It's not. It is not productive at all. You just wasted an hour of my time. If there's something that we need to talk about, I want it written, outlined, and a set agenda with a set start time and a set end time, and that's it. I don't want to catch up on things. It's not social hour. It's time to be productive. So with that, couple things that we need to take close consideration in, and that is really, I mean, we revolve around technology so much that it's kind of ridiculous, but it's imperative to do our jobs. Think about your phone. It's one of the biggest distractions that you have, and it's always dinging and ringing and notifying and lighting up and doing all these things, right? Well, and this new Apple Watch, I can't even fathom what that's going to do to people having that on their wrist. But we allow it to happen. We want to know when things are happening. So when our phone rings or lights up or vibrates, we're so quick to check it and then respond. And there's several people out there that you'll check it and you'll say, oh, I'll respond later. But your state of mind has just shifted. You just got distracted, and whatever it was that you were doing before is now off track, and it's going to take you that much longer to get back into the groove of what you were just doing. So the biggest thing is your phone. Yeah, I mean, right now, when you're probably listening to this, you're probably on your phone checking Instagram or your email or poking around on Facebook. Just pause for one moment. Okay, one of the biggest red flags for me is when I send someone an email and I get an immediate response. Why? Why is this happening? Why were you at your computer waiting for me to send you an email? That could be like the most unproductive thing ever. And here's why. And a lot of you that are listening to this can relate. If you have a type A personality, you get it. So these are check boxes and you want to check them off, right? Email comes in, respond, boom, off my plate. To-do list, done, off my plate. That is no way to operate a business. It will drain you of your energy and just destroy your productivity. So let me explain. What you want to be doing instead is let that stuff build up. Get to 100 emails. Who cares? Set scheduled times to check your email. So if you've ever read The 4-Hour Workweek, I obviously talk about it all the time. I'm a big believer in a lot of the things that Tim Ferriss promotes. But in that book, they talk about checking your email twice a day, 11 a.m., 4 p.m. That's it. Think about it. Those are 2 times during business hours that you're checking your email. You can respond in a reasonable amount of time. There will be no emergencies that are occurring during the hours you're not responding. And during all of those hours that you would have been responding to email, you can actually do something productive and stay focused and not lose sight of what you're trying to do because your phone's ringing or your Outlook calendar's going on or whatever it is. So I highly recommend scheduling that sort of time to check your email. And I think about it like this, with the check boxes and the type A personality always wanting to do, and you think that you're actually being productive. You're not, just because you're checking things off your list. If you've ever seen that movie American History X, there's a scene in there with Edward Norton where I think he's folding towels or sheets or something, and he's folding them faster and faster and faster, and he keeps moving them along. And finally, the guy who's right next to him is like, stop what you're doing. No matter how fast you're doing this, they're just going to keep coming, and you're never going to get to the end of it. This is the same exact thing with your email. You're just fielding bottomless questions that do not require any urgency at all. I don't give a shit how many times someone says, send this to me ASAP. I need this ASAP. They are creating the urgency that is completely fake. And they are creating an emergency that is not real. So do yourself a favor. Don't go crazy. Think about this when you're doing your email. And I mean it. I mean, it's really important to think about and not think that anything is a little bit different in your life and that, oh, for me, it is an emergency or not. It's probably not. So when people talk about emergencies, I'll never forget this. I had this girlfriend one time. She, hopefully she's listening to this right now. She was blowing my phone up, calling. And I remember I was extremely busy at that time and I was working with a client and I'm thinking, what the hell is going on? Someone must be dying on the other end of this. She calls me and says, it's an emergency. What is the emergency? And she says, the next door neighbor's house is on fire. And I just paused and thought, what the hell does that have to do with me? I'm not a firefighter. I can't solve this emergency. Why are you calling me 50 times when I'm clearly busy? I don't get it. We see it happen all the time when people are calling us. What if it's an emergency? It's not. And it probably has nothing to do with you. If there's an emergency, I'm not the guy to be calling. It's that simple. So there's 3 things that I do to reclaim my time and prevent other people from monopolizing it. And these are 3 things I suggest everyone listening to this give a shot to. So here's what I'm thinking. Number 1, my phone is always on silent and flipped over so I cannot see the display. Think about that. It's not on vibrate. I can't hear anything. I can't see it even light up. It's flipped over when I'm not using it and it's on silent. That means I will not be distracted by this thing. I will be doing the tasks that I need to do. I will be productive and I won't be bothered by this notification that's going to inevitably shift my state of mind and change my focus. This is very, very important, and I highly recommend doing it. Some of you are super anxious and you want to know what's going on with everyone all the time. Don't. It's no way to grow. It's no way to live. Number 2, my email does not get looked at outside of business hours, period. That means I do not wake up and check my email. Okay, a lot of you do this, and a lot of you think you have to do it. You don't. You don't have to do it. It's probably the worst way to stimulate your mind first thing in the morning like that. Wait until regular business hours. I wait until I get into the office. And from the night before when I left to the morning when I'm back in my office, there's just no way that something so detrimental has happened that required my immediate attention during those hours. I just refuse to believe it. So with that, I also don't check my email after I leave the office. So for this year, I've done a great job of really hardly checking my email on my cell phone at all, because I feel like there's really no need to. There's no need to be mobile and immediate with that sort of thing. Unless I'm out in the field during business hours, I need to check it, that's fine. But business hours only, I don't need to know what's happening at 6 in the morning or 7 in the morning. It can wait until 8 or 9. And same thing, nighttime, 7, 8 p.m. This is time to unwind, to relax, and reclaim your time. It's no longer anyone else's time. It's now your time. And the last thing, and this goes with the ex-girlfriend who called me rapid fire, this is my rule. You call me twice in a row, and that means it goes to voicemail, and then boom, you call again. You call me twice, you never get a call back, ever. Okay, and hopefully you've only been on the receiving end of this and haven't been the culprit itself, but there's certain people out there that have a tendency to call someone. If that person doesn't answer their phone right away, they'll call again and again. It drives me absolutely insane. What you're basically saying, if that's you, if you're listening to this right now and you do that, what you're saying is, my time is way more important than yours, and you should make a priority right now no matter what else you're doing. That sort of behavior is bullshit and gets you on my do not call list. Okay? Remember, time, most precious and valuable commodity we have. It is not bottomless. It is very finite. Once it's used, it's gone. You're trying to steal that from me, and you're trying to pull me away from what I'm doing. It's crazy. And a lot of people out there, and in relationships, I see it happen, they allow it. This is absolutely unacceptable. So if that's you, you will be on the do not call list. So those are the three things. Recap. Flip your phone over, put it on silent, don't look at it for periods of time during productive business hours. Number 2, don't check your email outside of business hours. Don't be on your phone checking your email when you wake up and when you're home getting ready for bed or whatever. There's absolutely no point to have that sort of stimulation on your mind. And the third thing is, don't allow people to call you multiple times to create a level of urgency. It is complete bullshit. So, in closing, reclaim your time. This is yours. How the hell are you going to grow your business and build it on your own when you're more concerned with someone else's? So, until next time, like us on Facebook by searching Remax Prestige, and feel free to reach us online at prestigelivingpodcast.com. Be fucking bold.